Hello everyone, today I'm looking at Vampire Survivors. Wow. This game came out of nowhere and I am addicted, guys. This is a really fun game and really well made, and well, I don't know if it's well made. It doesn't seem that hard to do, but it's just I know it's very fun. And so the premise of Vampire Survivors is, well, first of all, this is like, a Castlevania copyright issue, which it might as well be. But essentially, you start the game, you have a little animated sprite guy on a bird's eye view map. And similar to those kinds of games where you would expect to have like a directional kind of shooter where you have to like fight a bunch of, guys and shoot in a bunch of directions. Instead, you actually have no attacks whatsoever or attack buttons. But what you do have is the ability to upgrade your attacks and get new attacks. And your character actually upgrades automatically. All you have to worry about is essentially moving around the map and knowing where to go. And you think that might be kind of, limiting, but honestly, it's actually very difficult just by itself, because this game is based around scale essentially. So for every enemy you defeat, they drop kind of like this little kind of EXP gem which you pick up, and once you get one of a few of those, you level up, and of course it's harder to level up. But every time you do level up, you can either upgrade an existing weapon or get a new weapon for a maximum of like 6 or 7 different weapons. And so what's really cool is that as you upgrade each weapon, of course, you get stronger. But of course, as the time goes on, and this is the funny, it's not based on your level, but how much time that has passed in the map itself, different waves of enemies will show up, and more difficult waves of enemies, obviously. And so kind of like a roguelike, because every time you play, you either unlock a new character that has a different base weapon, which can give you an advantage, or you get unlock a new type of weapon. The kind of meta that is, emerging here is, one, you need to find a way to kill as many enemies as quickly in the beginning of the game so that you can get a really good weapon, so that by the time the hard enemies show up, you're already very well equipped. And some of these things are like a whip that goes left and right, random area attacks like lightning, Bibles and crosses that kind of go around you in a circular motion. Different things like axes, which only go vertically. The Song of Mana is by far, I think, the most overpowered and best, attack. And then there are also multipliers, things like increase the amount of gold you get. And so gold is this other resource that allows you to essentially buy certain upgrades and items on the home screen, and so that's another way you can also level up your characters. Also, your experience gems range from blue, green, and red, and so depending on the enemy you defeat, if it's kind of like a mini boss, it'll either drop one of those gems, those rare gems, or it'll drop a treasure chest. And a treasure chest can usually hold basically the equivalent of a level up, so it'll have like a weapon of some sort, or a level or weapon level up essentially, or the real kind of cool part of the game is figuring out the different combinations. So another thing that occurs is that let's say if you have the whip and then also the upgrade that allows you to like increase speed or something, there's certain upgrades where if you have level 7 of each, you have a chance essentially that when you open up a treasure chest, it'll give you a level 8 version of that weapon. And the level 8 version is so freaking powerful that you're almost guaranteed to make it to the end of the map, end of the match. And each match is roughly 30 minutes in length for every character regardless. And so again, if you bump into enemies and hit them, of course you're going to lose damage. And of course, by the end of the match, and what I love about this game is the scale, is that if you leveled up your items correctly and managed your resources correctly, like the entire screen is literally filled with like mini bosses, and you have to be able to like kill them in like one hit every time. And so the amount of strength that you can give to your character and the amount of abilities and things that allows you to essentially cheat the game are really, really extreme. Again, getting those level 8 versions of those weapons is really important. So for example, I think it's the axes that you kind of throw them in a bunch of directions, and it's still kind of up and down but in a diagonal motion. Once you get the level 8 version, which is a scythe, they just go in a 360 direction, which is absolutely broken as hell. So the game is also very unfair, but it allows you to be unfair back to it. And again, you have a certain limited amount of certain items and weapons that you can get. So you have to be very careful, essentially, with how you do that. And so sometimes you get, extra lives or whatever. I remember when I first started playing this game, I was only able to get to maybe level 10 or 15 or something. But then when I was finally able to understand how the game actually works, how you basically want to avoid damage as much as possible and just focus on walking and grabbing the upgrade points, the game becomes a lot easier. And then once you get the really good upgrades, the game becomes almost a joke, frankly. And what happens at the end of wave 30 is you always have to face the Grim Reaper, who is going to kill you essentially no matter what. You can basically keep reviving and have an extended amount of time after that, but he's still just going to kill you after that 30-minute point. And which all the other bosses also disappear, so it's just you and him. But yeah, getting your items to level 7 or level 8 is really kind of how you win these things. And the other thing that I think is the most useful tool is the attractor ability. So it'll attract items like EXP things farther away. The one other kind of strategy is that there are also certain breakable objects in the map, like lanterns or fireplaces or things, and these can either drop things like money, or what you really need is the food items that you need to heal. That is the only way you can really heal in this game until you get to the very max level. I think it's level 50 or something, in which case you're able to essentially choose whether or not you get a health item or money. And so if you've really maxed out your character and you're super confident that you can't die, you can actually lock it in to increase money every single time. And again, the way you beat each level is getting killed by the Grim Reaper at the end of it. And again, there's just a lot of different cool characters. There's one that's a dog called La Blanca. All these characters are kind of sort of based on Castlevania characters, kind of. And I guess it might have started off like that, but when you play the game, it has its own kind of distinct feel. And even the music, it feels very Castlevania-esque. But it's still just a massive amount of fun and super, super addicting. And the Castlevania's team is maybe kicking themselves that they didn't think of this first or something. I don't know. The other thing that's really great about the game is the amount of character or enemy variety. All of these enemies that you're fighting have a very distinct, style or feel to them. They feel really cool to fight, and each one of them has their own kind of distinct way of attacking you. And there are just so many. There's hundreds of different enemy types, depending on the map that you choose. So you have, the grassy fields, the library, the kind of industrial district, and also each map has its own kind of theme as well. And I think my favorite one is definitely the factory, where you have something about like there be minotaurs here. That is an absolute bop, and I had a lot of fun playing that map a lot. There are also certain unlockable areas. So you also have a map, and you have to travel a long ass way, but you can find certain unlocks and certain special powers that once you get them once, you're unlocked for the rest of the game. Now, some of them are very odd, like increasing enemy attack for some reason. I don't know why you'd want that. And then other ones are things like increasing, the amount of rare drops and things like that. And then there are also kind of secret hidden bosses, where if you follow this one route and kind of go this one direction into this monastery, you can find a secret boss you can fight. And I just love that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. I think my favorite enemy in this game is kind of the three-legged women's sun faces. I don't know, they're just kind of weird Isle of Man reference or something. I don't know, it just looks really cool. And so, yeah, usually enemies will come in certain waves, essentially, where, you know, they will kind of attack you all at once, or they will essentially wait until a mini boss comes. I don't know why it is that I can't really attack, that I auto attack. It's just how much you buff your character and give them like a good, you know, loadout that really determines how well you do. I don't know why that's such a cool concept to me, but it's just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's super, super cool. Anyway, I don't have much else to say about this game. You already know it's super addictive. It's super fun. It's just really, really great, and it's kind of brain dead easy, but also strategy and addicting at the same time. I've never played something like this, and it's kind of revolutionary, and this has made a ton of Vampire Survivor clones. Oh my god, a lot of clones. Anyway, guys, that's all I gotta say about this one. I'll see you later. Bye.